So welcome back to the workshop then, and to part 3 of this electric mandolin build series. Now I've been quite busy, I've got a lot to show you, so I'll get cracking. So we've got this lovely dead flat ebony fretboard. What I'm going to do now, the first thing I'm going to do is put the camber, the compound radius on it, and I'll do that by sanding with various radius blocks. Once that's done, I can then enlarge these pilot holes to put the dot position markers in, and those pilot holes are also the holes that I use to put wooden pegs through into the neck to ensure the perfect alignment of the fretboard when I glued it on. Once the dots once the epoxy for the dots has dried, I'll then give the fretboard a final sand and polish, and then it's ready for the frets to go in. You can see why I like to leave the neck square at this stage. It can be gripped in this vise whilst I'm working on it, and it just makes life so much easier. Right, so we've got that lovely ebony fretboard all polished up, ready for the fret. And I must admit, I'm a bit old school with my approach to this. I like to use this ball peen hammer with this highly polished surface. You know, you can't help noticing there are lots of devices for pushing frets into the slots, various clamps and presses, etc. But I'm perfectly happy with this method. And I think one of the issues that you can have when you are using a hammer to try to put the frets in is if the neck's not properly supported, it will bounce. So this neck now is firmly on the bench, so I won't have any problems hammering that in. You won't get a kind of recoil, if you like. And and as long as you hit the frets square on and not at an angle with the edge of the head of the hammer, you won't damage the frets. So yeah, I'm going to get cracking putting those frets in now, and once they're in, I'll be trimming the ends of the frets with these wire cutters. Now these wire cutters, these Starrett ones, date from the late 1800s, would you believe? Absolutely fantastic for doing this. Piano wire, music wire cutters, I believe they're called. And I was amazed to find that actually Starrett still make these. So you can buy a new pair of those. And yeah, for cutting fret wire, I believe they're second to none. Okay, enough of this, let's do some work. So that's all of the frets in, and you would have noticed as I was going along I was checking it with the fret rocker, and any frets which were slightly proud, they had another tap of the hammer. So that's pretty much level all the way along there, and in fact if I put my straight edge on there, yeah, it's pretty much perfect, I would guess. So when I come to level the frets or stone the frets, I'll be taking the minimum amount off of those frets as I can. Yeah, so the next step then is to file the edges so that all of the frets are flush with the fretboard. Put a bevel on them so that you haven't got any sharp edges for the player. Level the frets off and then dress them and polish them. Yeah, so I shall crack on with that now. Right, well there we are. All the frets now inserted, dressed, polished, etc. And we're ready for the next step. If you want to look at the whole fretting process in greater depth, there is another one of my videos on the short scale base, and I do go into the fretting in a bit more detail. The only difference is obviously the scale. The whole process is the same, however. Yeah, so what I'm going to start doing now is shaping the neck. And my favourite tools for shaping the neck these days, to get most of the bulk off, I'll use a spoke shave. Then I'll go down to one of these Shinto saw rasps. And then finally, for any sort of delicate shaping, I'll use these Japanese wood carvers files or rasps. Yeah, so carving the neck, one of my favourite stages. So as you would have seen, I've been doing some rough shaping, and really I'm at the width that I want and the depth that I want, but I'm nowhere near the profile that I want. I've got this kind of almost rectangle with the corners rounded off. Yeah, so got to do some very careful shaping now, really concentrate on this, because you know it's the old adage, you can always take more off but you can't put it back on. So yeah, some very careful, gentle work to get that profile the way that I want. thing about using a spoke shave is that you can only really take off that amount of wood. You can't go right the way up to the end or right the way back up towards the head. So what you've got to be aware of is that you're not kind of taking too much out of this area. It's a good idea to every now and then work here and here using a file or a rasp, or maybe just sanding it. And then of course continually checking. Right, so I finished shaping the neck, carving the neck, whatever you want to call it. All nicely blended into the heel there and into the body, heel cap on, etc. Yes, I'm really pleased with the way that's turned out. So what I'm going to do now is get on with the kind of contouring of the body. But before I do that, I just want to say, if you are interested in the way I shape a neck, or you just want more information on shaping a neck, there's another one of my base build videos, I think it's number 6, where I go into this whole carving of the neck business in much greater depth. Yes, if you're interested, have a look at that one. Although it's a bass guitar, as I said with the frets, the process is exactly the same. It's just the scale that's different. So yeah, let's do that contouring now, shall we? So on this edge of the top, I'm just going to gently round that off, and as I come around to this side here, that's going to kind of blend into a slight bevel, and I'll continue that bevel around here and have a kind of little sculptural scallop in that area there. Yeah, so I'm just going to mark that out and get cracking and shaping it with various tools. Well, my friends, after a good few hours of sanding, there is the electric mandolin. And really, at this stage, the electric mandolin, all the woodwork, if you like, is complete. Really pleased with the way this lovely piece of walnut has turned out on the top there. By putting a bit of a chamfer on the edge here, just makes it that little bit more comfortable to hold. Pleased with the way the orders come out. As I said, it's the first time that I've used it. Just put a coat of sanding sealer on there and it gives it this nice warm kind of honey glow. And if I turn it around there for you to have a look at, you can see now why I put that walnut stripe into the body. It continues, the stripe theme anyway, continues through the neck, and you get this nice kind of light and dark contrast. This piece of wood here is actually maple. Maple is much structurally stronger than alder, and therefore obviously suitable for the neck. So yeah, if I just hold that a bit closer, turn it round for you so you can see the top, the back, the control cover there, the way the heel's been shaped. I do like this little contrasting area here, I must admit. And then of course the volute on the neck there, walnut and maple neck, and of course that lovely piece of ebony for the head overlay. Yeah, so that's about it then for this episode. Hardware coming up in the next video, but until then, you take care. Thanks for watching the video, and until then, yeah, keep safe. See you soon. Cheers.